I'm not sure I've calmed down since that 2-1 win over City. I really have not. Erik Ten Hag here with the best celebrations we've seen from him so far in his tenure as Manchester United manager. And why not? Coming from behind to beat City in the derby. I'm going to go full screen now. But ladies and gents, what a win that was for Manchester United. What a moment that was for Erik Ten Hag. And honestly, I can't believe we're at this position so early on in his tenure as Manchester United manager. He has quite literally totally transformed this football club in a very, very short space of time. And during the season as well, we've had speed bumps. I'll speak about it all. I'll try and sort of step back and have a bit of a full reaction to that. But when you see stuff like this cracking around, as Emilio Ten Hag, Emiliano, can't remember his name. Anyway, there's Diego Ten Hag. The internet is on point at times like this. I swear to God, I've enjoyed this one. And that for me is just a photo to sum it all up. Manchester United coming from behind to beat City. And for a lot of people, that was the game that needed to happen. And that was the game that did happen. That's now one loss in our last 18 games. And it includes coming from behind to beat City at Old Trafford. Look at that photo there. I ran through this in my match reaction. Ten Hag and Malassia screaming in each other's faces. Now, when Ten Hag said this before the season started, I admire both City and Liverpool. They play fantastic football, but eras come to an end. So far at Old Trafford this season, Erik Ten Hag's Manchester United have beaten Liverpool, have beaten Arsenal, have beaten Spurs, and have beaten City. Only Chelsea to beat for the full house. City are out of the League Cup. We're in the last four. We're the only English club in 4 competitions. Yeah, one's Europa League, and we don't want to be there. But the way we are playing, we are in the top 4 this year. And looking at Manchester United's form in itself, the last 6 Premier League games, a 0-0 draw against Old Trafford, followed by 5 wins, including wins over Spurs and Man City, and only conceding 1 goal in those 6 games. It's phenomenal. It really is phenomenal, the turnaround. And what I want to focus on in this video is the whole package. The whole package of this turnaround. There's a couple of quotes from after that win against City, which I think stand out. Erik Ten Hag saying this. He goes, "This is why I came to Manchester United. The club is a monster. Old Trafford is a stadium with the right vibe. If you manage to light the fire, you get an amazing experience." And I think that's just such a standout quote from Erik Ten Hag. And Old Trafford against City. Wow. I was there for the 2-1 win over Liverpool, and I thought that was the best atmosphere I'd seen in a long time. I think that City game might have beaten it for those who were there. It was raucous. But speaking after the game, Ten Hag, I just love the way he speaks. We can achieve something in this season. I am convinced. But it's still a long way to restore Manchester United. We approach it game by game, and this bit in particular. He was asked about a title challenge. Now, I may have got excited and said United are in a title challenge. And I stand by what I said. Beating City there, being 1 point behind City, we are in one. But Ten Hag doesn't need to get as excited as us as fans. He goes, "Don't do that. We're not even halfway through the season. It's only January. There's a lot to come, a lot of gaps in our games we have to work on." And it wasn't a total complete game, but it got the result. And look at the Premier League table now. Manchester United 1 point behind City, same games played. Manchester United currently 5 points ahead of Spurs. They play Arsenal tomorrow. Let's see what goes on there. Spurs in 4th place. Man United at this moment in time, we are flying high. And I tell you what, Erik Ten Hag is letting you dream a little bit. I don't think we're going to win the Premier League this season. Can I just clarify that? Just me saying that we are in a Premier League title race, I think we are. If we maintain this form, which we are doing, and we are beating the best teams in City, then we are in the title race. That game against Arsenal next weekend, geez, if you can follow that game up against City by beating Arsenal, the hype level is going to go through the roof. But one of the best things this club has done, and we made a lot of mistakes in recent years, appointing Erik Ten Hag as our manager. Thursday, 21st of April. Who knew how important that date would be in the history of the club, and who knows how important it will be in the history of the club, because we're still only in his first season. But speaking after the game, there's so much to unpack, I think, from what Ten Hag said. This bit in particular, I think, is the focus of it all. He said one of the main jobs of management is to work on mentality. It's got a lot of elements: resilience, determination. This team is progressing a lot in those factors, dealing with setbacks and painful moments. And he has done such an incredible job in turning around the mentality of this squad. Rewind to last year. We've now got 21 wins this season, by the way, which is more than we had in the entirety of last season. And we're not even halfway through the Premier League season, people. Just think about that and how wild that is. We are so far ahead from where I thought we would be at this point. And it's all down to Ten Hag. And he talks about dealing with setbacks, dealing with painful moments. Inside this season, we've had setbacks and we've had painful moments. And I think from both of them, I think Ten Hag has learned and reacted from that 4-0 defeat to Brentford with the now infamous 13.8-kilometre run that happened after the game that he joined in with. Ronaldo was dropped, Shaw was dropped, Maguire was dropped. Man United went on a 4-game winning streak, including Liverpool and Arsenal, I think. We recovered. Then we had that 6-3 away at City. And it just, we looked light years. We looked years away from City at that point. Everybody said we looked years away. Yet here we are. What is it, 100 days later? We've just beaten City at Old Trafford. And not only have we just beaten City, we are the first team to beat Manchester City since August 2021 in the Premier League when they've been leading. 1-0 to a 2-1 defeat. They only had one shot on target, which I think is the lowest that has ever happened for Pep in a Premier League game. We didn't just beat Man City there. Like we held them. The first half was a real game of chess. One move, two tactical. Clearly, two managers very good tactically, just trying to get a little one. And we had the chances, by the way. If Rashford, if his finishing was more clinical in the first half, we had chances. We had the better chances. But ultimately, we don't need to dive down into the details of the game because United came out on top. Now, going back to what Ten Hag said a little bit back here, right? He's right. It's still a long way to go. We'll approach it game by game. And he said there's still a lot of gaps in our game to work on. And no United fan will say that was a complete performance from Manchester United. But I tell you what it was, what Bruno said it was after the game. We used to be a team of individuals. Now, no, so we used to just be individuals. Now we are a team. You can see a proper team that works for each other. And whether it's Fred putting in an absolute monster first half against De Bruyne, and Fred is somebody who does what his manager asks of him pretty much every single game. Whether it's Fred you want to speak about, whether it's Casemiro coming in and look at that, 15 Premier League games, 11 Premier League wins since Casemiro came in. That's not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. It is not a coincidence. Whether it's Bruno, and Bruno, you know full well that I will staunchly defend Bruno Fernandes and that performance there, that result there, his goal and his involvement in the second goal. Bruno is that guy. Whether it's him, whether it's Marcus Rashford scoring 9 goals in 9 consecutive games at Old Trafford. It's just that, look at the improvement in Marcus Rashford. Look at the improvement in Aaron Wan-Bissaka, a player who I'll be completely honest, absolutely wrote off. I said he had no chance whatsoever. It looks like I'm going to be eating some humble pie and sending an apology to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I suppose it goes to show you can jump to conclusions too early with players. But can you imagine, right, how good this team, this club will be with this man in charge, with these players, with that new belief, with owners who genuinely want to win the Premier League and the Champions League? It is going to be a problem for people. I had belief going into that game against City more than I've had belief in a long, long time. And it's because of this man. And we followed through on that by beating City at Old Trafford. City were infallible for United. We could only just look at them and just look at them with envy for years. Because they got things right. They had the right manager in, the right recruitment in, and the club worked in unison together. We've got the right manager in. We've had a good summer of recruitment. But his impact in such a short space of time, we haven't just struck gold here with Erik Ten Hag. We've found the biggest oil well ever. This is what we needed. He is the man to take us forward. And when the Glazers leave, and when Erik Ten Hag has management above him that support properly, not just support, but has the same ambitions that he does, the next few years, ladies and gents, strap yourselves in. We've been in the shadows for a long time as a football club. But Erik Ten Hag has got us believing again. And I tell you what, I don't think it's going to happen this season. I really, really don't. But just imagine. Just imagine.